Hi, and welcome to The Bright Balloon, a podcast where I'm sharing bright ideas for your balloon business. My name is Sarah Meyer, and I'm a balloon business owner like you, and I love the creative side of what I do, but I really love the business side, which seems to be the part where most people struggle. So I'm here to help. Each week, I'm bringing you an episode full of bite-sized tips you can use to make improvements in your business. I want you to make more money, eliminate stress, and learn along with me as we grow our creative businesses together. Welcome to The Bright Balloon, presented by 17 Hats. In today's episode, we are talking about rebranding your business. Specifically, if you've been around for a while. It's easy to start a business with a name, a logo, some colors. It's a lot harder to change things down the road. So I am so grateful for our guest today. It is Tracy Terry, who's the owner of Joyful Party Co., and she is talking about all that went into the rebrand of her business. It's more than a logo, it's more than a name, and she is sharing everything from the process to the expense of updating and rebranding her business. Thank you so much, Tracy, for coming on and sharing all of the details. And we are going to take a quick break and head over to the UGlu Hotline for some great advice that sticks, and then get into this rebrand episode with my friend Tracy. Welcome to the UGlu Hotline, where we discuss great advice that sticks, brought to you by Pro Tapes. Pro Tapes is a leading manufacturer of specialty tape products like Pro Artist, Pro Gaff, and our favorite balloon tape, UGlu, which helps you create amazing balloon arrangements and decorations. If you have a tip, send me a DM on Instagram at The Bright Balloon. Today's tip is courtesy of Travis, the owner of Squeak Balloon and Decor, and he suggests wearing ear protection. He wishes someone had recommended that to him early on in his career. And I gotta say, I also noticed a lot of hearing aids at the last balloon convention I was at. I think I have also damaged my ears already. So get yourself some ear protection, some great headphones to muffle some of that wear and tear on your eardrums when you use those loud inflators. Thanks so much, Travis, for calling in your tip. Welcome, Tracy. I'm so excited to chat with you about your rebrand. I was just on your website. It is beautiful. I love all of your branding. But before we launch into that, can you give us an introduction of who you are and a little bit about your business?
Thank you so much, Sarah, for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Same.
My name is Tracy Terry. I am the owner of Joyful Party Co., formerly known as For Me to You Creations, and we are based in Northwest Arkansas, around the University of Arkansas, Walmart corporate, Tyson corporate area. So we are a very unique area, and I'm a mom and a wife, and all the hats and things of a business owner.
Yeah. How did you get started? Because you are not new. You've been doing this a long time. How did you get started back, 17 years ago?
17 years ago, I was a itty bitty baby of the age of 25, and I started For Me to You Creations as a scrapbooking and stationery company.
Okay.
And that's kind of where the name came from me to you. So putting things in the mail and mailing out invitations and things of that nature. So I did wedding invitations and by hand and scrapbooks for several
Okay.
years. And that's how we got started initially.
And
Was
you had like a quote unquote real job as well. I mean, I was reading your bio and you're like, yeah, you had a real job and some chops. You have a master's degree. You worked for Tyson for a really long time. So was
yeah.
this always like a side hustle?
Yes, so I was at Tyson Foods corporate office full time for 12 years, and I created For Me to You Creations during that time.
Okay.
So I was going home, spending nights and weekends doing invitations like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, making wedding invitations. I did the bridal shows, I did all of that, and still working full time. Yeah.
Yeah. And then where did balloons come from?
Okay, so I opened the Etsy store, my first Etsy store, and that was invitations. So strictly invitations in 2011. And then a year later, I started selling party supplies, quote unquote. So I started selling like paper straws and favor bags, and that's when I started selling balloons.
Okay.
But Etsy at the time was not public. And so you had to hand make everything or have something that could be handmade. So they actually
Okay.
took the balloons off and flagged me for it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, which was crazy back then, knowing what Etsy sells now, balloon
Right,
wise.
exactly, exactly.
So then we went into like t-shirts and started making t-shirts when I got married and tumblers and all these different like party products and things to go along with your party, bachelorette party t-shirts and wedding t-shirts and all of this stuff, right? And that's how I kind of got into selling balloons first before I actually did balloons.
Okay, interesting. Interesting. And then along the way, local people started finding you, or I mean, because I met you at Summit, so you're obviously not just
Yep.
selling deflated balloons now. You're doing installs,
Nope.
you're doing the whole thing. How did you finally take that plunge?
So a few months before COVID, I went to a training in Tennessee and I learned all the things. Like I walked in the building not even knowing how to make a quad.
Okay.
Literally
That was
nothing.
me too. My first class, I was like, I don't know anything. And they tied two balloons together. I was like, wait a minute. That was amazing. And then they turned it into a quad. And I was like, oh my gosh, I
Right.
get it.
Exactly. I was like, wait, hold on. How did you do that? And so it was a whole thing of just a week long of just learning balloon stuff.
Okay.
I mean, like I had no idea who Qualitex was. I was selling North Star,
Mm,
uh, the little rose gold 16-inch letters.
letters and stuff. Yeah. Because
That's
that's what
it.
people were buying, like bachelorette things and stuff. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. So I had no idea who like Qualitex was or Tough Tex then only had like three primary colors and they were known as like the outside balloon
Like
and
car dealer balloons. Yep, absolutely.
exactly. So did that and then I came home and I did maybe one or two garlands for a friend and then COVID hit and it propelled me into
Yeah.
balloons because my Etsy stores were pretty much social based and
Mm,
nobody was doing anything social. So nobody
yeah.
was buying any t-shirts for their baseball games or their bachelorette parties or anything like that because there was no birthday, bachelorette parties or baseball games or anything. So we had to pivot quickly. And that's when I pretty much picked up the balloons and was like, I got to make this work.
Yeah. Were you still at Tyson at this point?
No, I left
Okay.
Tyson in 2018.
Okay.
So,
So you were like, I have to figure this out. I can't just like sit here and hope that it works itself out. So you started doing the balloons. Were you doing
yeah,
all the yard decor like we all were?
yep, the poles, the sticks, all that,
Hmm.
just propelled me straight into balloons.
Cool. So now are you still doing any of your party goods? I was just on your website and you do still have a link to an Etsy store. So kind of where are you now? And then we'll talk about your rebrand.
Okay, so we still have three Etsy stores. We still have the t-shirt store, which is basically we've pivoted away from like party activities and we're now really just doing sports. So
Okay.
things for football shirts, different teams, baseball, basketball, go type shirts.
And are you hand doing those with like your Cricut and iron-on decals, or do you have a bigger operation than that?
No, some Cricut, but more transfers. We've switched
Okay.
over to transfers, and I'm actually trying to switch over to a print on demand, so we
Mm,
won't have to touch it at all. That
yeah,
would be
absolutely.
more ideal. It cuts a little bit more into the profit, but it will save so much time on labor and just cost and stuff.
Yeah, just even shipping, like getting that stuff out. Yeah,
Yep,
absolutely.
yep.
Okay. So still the Etsy stores and
And
balloons are your main thing now?
okay, so we have the t-shirt store, and then we have the party store.
Okay.
Etsy, and then we have the digital invitation store.
Mm,
So I kind of went back to the roots I was kind of missing that creative, digital paper aspect of it. So went back to the roots. And so we have a digital paper store too.
Okay.
Yeah,
And that's all under your new brand name.
everything's under the new branding. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. All
Which
right, let's
originally it wasn't. So that's
yeah.
the whole
Okay, so then
rebrand.
let's talk about that. So you were like, "Oh, I did a rebrand." So then when I went to look at your stuff, I'm like, "Oh, she did a rebrand." Like it is your
Yes,
website is beautiful
thank you.
and your logo is beautiful and your colors are beautiful. And so this is not like you went onto Canva and made a new logo and then called it a rebrand. This was a whole process. So why don't you walk us through first of all why you decided to do that and then some of the steps of this process?
Okay. So it started in 2023 at Tough Tech's Experience.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I was there and I was listening to Deloons and
Okay.
how they rebrand it. And I went to their class of branding and social media and things of that nature. So I went upstairs to my room and I was like, I need a new logo. I need a
Mm.
new logo because I really need a website. I have a website, but I really push people to the Etsy stores, blah, blah, blah. Right. So I go on Instagram and I find a company to do the rebrand and I do it right then. I'm filling out the
You're
form.
like at the hotel.
I'm at the hotel. I'm doing
Okay,
it.
what did they say? Do you remember what they said that compelled you so urgently to do this?
Their first name was so hard to say. And
Yes.
people were jacking it up and everything. And I feel the same way about From Me to You. And I ended up having to shorten From Me to You. Like right now, I'm saying it From Me to You instead of From Me to You Creations. I
Mm.
shortened it. The Instagram handle was FM2Y Creations. Nobody knows what that means.
Well, and you had the number two in there, which I would assume you'd have to
Number
specify that
two.
instead of the word.
Yes. And every time I would tell somebody my email address, it's like info at FM, the number two, the letter Y, creations with the S. Like it was like 16 years of that. And it was
Yeah.
exhausting, right? And I realized like my employees and myself, when we would tell people From Me to You, we would kind of lower our voice a little.
Like you weren't really confident saying it.
Yeah. And then it would be like, well, what is that? So, and then you would have to explain. And then they were like, and it sounded like a hobby kind of when we explained it. They were like, oh, okay. Well, we do balloons and shirts. And, it was like, oh, okay. So they didn't really get it, but
Yeah.
you would have to like actually pull up the website or the Instagram and like, no, we're legit. So it was
Yeah.
kind of, I don't know. I would say it was my 25-year-old self,
Yeah. Okay.
right? And just evolving into a woman, I needed something else
So
that
it's Joyful Party Co.
Joyful Party Co.
That
is
one rolls off the tongue. That I can say
it's
confidently. I
easy.
love it.
It's easy. And we bring joy to different celebrations. Like it's just easy to
Did you come
explain.
up with a name right at the Tough Text experience too?
No,
Okay.
no. So at the Tough Text experience, I was really just getting a new logo for From Me to You.
Mm.
So I filled out the form, I put a deposit down. I was like, boom, I'm doing this. Like, we need a new logo, we need a new everything. And then I ghosted her for like 5 months. And I know,
Oh no.
so I know she was like, where is this woman? She's giving me her Instagram. Like, I went on Pinterest, she sent me a Notion and I tagged different things and fonts and stuff I loved and just ghosted her. Right? Because then there's this thing about going to conferences, right? That you're around these creative people and you're like, you see all these shiny things and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, I need new business cards. But in order to get new business cards, I need a new logo, I need a website and blah, blah. And then you get back home and you're trying to implement things, but then you have all these jobs on the book too. And you're like,
Right.
I don't have time for that. Right? Like, I gotta get back to work, right?
Yes.
And again, as a creative and having a stationary business, it's really hard. I've been through several logos, and it's really hard for me to decide on a font. It's because I have 80 million in my computer and it's hard for me to decide on a font, and I know different things like Cricut, so how to be able to cut your logo, which logos you need for different things. You need a circle logo, you need a sub logo, you need a straight line logo. So I tend to push people who create branding a little bit more than an average person. That
Yeah, it's like
the
you're almost too close to your business too, because I would imagine you, for other people, you're probably really efficient and you can make decisions. But for you, it's like you have almost too much knowledge and too many
Yep,
options and can't quite
yep.
confirm.
So I tend to challenge and sometimes fire people, other creatives, before I really give them a chance
Hmm.
because I'm like, I could do this, but I don't want to do this because if I do this, it's going to take me forever. I just need to give it to somebody, let them do it, and walk away. Right. So I ghosted her. Then I went to Summit a couple months later, and Sheila Fluker. She ripped the band-aid off. And so she was on the main stage, or they had a panel, and she talked about rebranding her business.
Mm.
And I was like, okay. And by that time, it was a couple months after Tough Text Experience. I was like, I really understand the struggles of For Me to You. It's like 15 years old now, and it's acting like a true teenager, right? Like
It's being temperamental.
some days I want to do it, some days I don't want to do it, and she's like, who am I don't know what friend group I belong in, what products are we going to sell, what products do we not want to sell, do I even want to be in a friend group, like she's really acting like a whole teenager,
So
right?
funny.
And I'm telling Sheila this, and she's like, uh-huh, uh-huh. And she's like, and what is your business name? And I told her, For Me to You Creations. She's like, you need to change your business name.
Mm.
And this was the last night. She was sitting at a table at the Under the Sea party. And I just walked over to her and I was like, I'm just really struggling with my business and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, you need to change your business. And I was like, I can't change my business name. It's 15 years old and
Yeah.
everybody knows it. And she's like, yeah, really? Do they? Like she's like, and she's like, okay, well, just pray about it and let me know when you change your business name. Pretty much. And I was like, I'm not changing my business name. Like, this is crazy, right? Like, no way. Everybody knows me. It's For Me to You Creations. And she's like, uh-huh. Okay. She's
So
like,
was this summit when you came up to me and said you wanted to do this podcast?
2023.
Okay, this was a while ago. Gotcha.
Yep,
Okay.
2023. So a couple weeks went by, prayed about it, thought about it, all that. And at the end of December, I finally unghosted the logo brand company. And I was like, okay, I'm pivoting. I'm changing the name. And because she hadn't done any work,
Yeah. She was just
and
like, thank you for your money, I guess.
exactly. She was just like, thanks for the deposit. And I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, I got this woman has my money, right? So I filled out a whole nother form. And by that time, when I created Joyful Party Co., I did a deep, deep dive, thanks to AI, into like brand voice, brand, like we actually have a motto and a purpose.
Interesting. Say more about that. How did you use AI? Did you just have a conversation where you like lead me through a rebrand? Like what does that look like? That's a great
Yep.
tip.
So I pretty much asked AI to ask me 30 questions about the business.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And it asked me 30 detailed questions about the business to create a brand voice. So I think I put in a prompt, acting as a brand manager expert of 30 plus years, asked me 30 questions of my business and my target audience, everything popped up. Every
Amazing. Did you think to do this on your own or was this a tip you heard from someone else? That's
Now,
brilliant.
I don't know. That was like 18
Just
months.
take the credit then. You invented it.
Yes, yes, I thought about it. I really did. So AI spit out all this information after I replied to everything. And then from there, I created the, brand voice and purpose and all of the things that, and I actually put it in like, so based off this information, give me some ideas of what the new name could be.
Mm.
So just different things like that. And when I would come up with like the slogan, I would say like, give me 20 options of a slogan. And then I would kind of piece them together and different things like that. So then I finally went back to her and I was like, I have a new brand. Here it is. And I was able to actually fully fill out her form in great detail
Mm.
of everything. So then she was like, okay, I like this. This is a little easier. And so everything was just packaged into Joyful Party Co.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's take a quick break and then let's get into more details about the rebrand because this has led to more than a new logo and new business cards.
Yes.
I mean, it's a new brand. It's a rebrand, but I
Mhm.
think sometimes like we talked about at the beginning, that's very surface level. But like you
Yeah.
said, you went into voice, you went into customer, all those things. So let's take a quick break
Yeah.
and then continue our conversation.
Okay.
This episode is brought to you in part by Having a Party Wholesale, your one-stop shop for professional balloon supplies. Some of my summer favorites include iridescent Brookloon foils, flanges that I use to make my own base plates, and did you know they even sell dog toys made from recycled balloons? How cute is that? Having a Party has everything you need to keep creating. Their fast shipping, great prices, and customer-first service make them my go-to supplier. Head to haveinaparty.com and use promo code podcast at checkout. All right, welcome back. So you are in the middle of a rebrand. I would say complete. I mean, but this is a years long process.
Yes.
But you went into it with a little bit more clarity. You changed the name, you got the logo. What was the next step? And then what are the things you're still working on? Because I would imagine after 17 years, kind of the trail of everything is never ending. So
Right.
let's start with kind of those first steps.
Okay, so the first thing I did was I searched everywhere for Joyful Party Co. And there was one that was close to it, but it looked like it was a hobby and it only had one follower. So I was like,
Okay.
okay, I'm doing it. Right.
Gotcha.
Right. So I was like, I need to figure out a way to still keep From Me to You as the parent company and just do Party Co. as the DBA. So I actually filled out all the paperwork. I switched From Me to You over from an LLC to an N Corp.
Okay.
And then,
What's an N corp?
well, S Corp,
S corp.
uh,
Gotcha.
uh, incorporation. Sorry.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
now it's an S Corp. And because during COVID, I had to switch over to S Corp anyway because I had to put myself on payroll. COVID taught us a lot. And COVID taught us a lot. And so now I have the DBA through the state and was able to take all of that information, go to the bank. So now the bank has Joyful Party Co. or For Me to You. So
Gotcha.
if somebody writes me a check, it can be For Me to You or Joyful Party Co. And just trying to do all the back end stuff.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. When I think of rebrand, I didn't even think about the bank or like your
The
taxes.
bank,
Like it's
the
a big,
taxes, everything.
mm.
It's crazy. It's
It's
crazy.
easier to do it, yeah, when you're like 1 year in and you're not really like doing anything legit anyway. But
Right.
after all those years, yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
even think about that.
So that's why I kept For Me to You as the parent company. So I wouldn't have to change like my EIN and different things with the state that were solid. I just
Mm-hmm.
that stuff the same and just picked up the DBA.
Smart.
Yeah. So did that, and so we're working on this logo, and I'm being, a pain, of course, with fonts and stuff like that. But we finally get it narrowed down and everything, and I start working on the website. And my website's through Shopify, so it is pretty much a template, and I can
Well,
go
it's
in.
beautiful. I just came from there. I was looking at it before we hopped on the call. It is really, really beautiful. I love how you have your bouquets. Side note,
Oh, thank you.
how you're in the pictures. It really does a good job of showing the
Thank you.
scale.
Yeah, the size and things like that. And I really wanted to do that. There's some things, of course, I would change, but listen, I this year I'm really working on done is better than perfect.
Yeah,
And so we're moving on. They're out
yeah.
there and we're moving on, right? So start working on a website and I would drop it, pick it up, drop it, pick it up because I just didn't want to rush it, but I also wanted to do it correctly and wanted to make sure that it was exactly what I wanted it to be.
Hmm.
So I probably worked on a website for like 6 or 7 months. And again,
Wow.
it's still not done because I really need to integrate all the Etsy stuff back over into the website and just kind of so then I can push people to the website, not necessarily the Etsy stores.
Hmm.
But I have thousands of products on Etsy, so I don't know if I'm going to do that, but
Right, right.
it is what it is. So the website, and then I'm like checking monthly to make sure nobody takes my social media handle because you can't change it before the rebrand, or I would have had to start over from a brand new page.
Okay.
So I couldn't change FM2Y Creations on Instagram until the day of the rebrand.
Okay.
Right. And so every week I'm making sure nobody is taking the name and, checking in on that. So it's been a long journey. You have to go back and look at my Google business page, Google My
Yeah.
Business. I had to change that. I have a link through Catch My Party. I had to change that profile the other day. Last night, I just switched my Twitter name because I'm never on Twitter. So I
Right.
switched that. Everything on my personal pages that referred back to From Me to You had to change. I had to change my LinkedIn page, and I still need to figure out how to change From Me to You's name in LinkedIn to Joyful Party Co. All of that. Or do I just create a LinkedIn business page? Again, I have no idea.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
figuring
a
it out.
lot.
Right. It's just
Well,
you
I
figure it
changed
out.
from a free Gmail account to a paid Gmail account, and you would have thought that would be super easy,
It's
and
not.
it was hard. I mean, I had to change that everywhere, and I still a year later have my email forwarding from my old free account to my paid account. It's like literally the same account instead of Wisconsin Balloons at gmail.com. Now it's Sarah at wisconsinballoondecor.com. And it's like, oh, it's like there's no connection. It's like starting completely from scratch. It is painful. It's painful.
Yeah.
So to do it on this scale, I totally understand it would be a
Yeah.
nightmare.
And I switched, my old website was through Yahoo Business. So that just tells you how old it was,
Yeah.
right? And to over to Gmail. And then I had to buy the domain names. So I bought joyfulparty.co, which is
Okay.
the main one. And then I bought joyfulpartyco.com.
Mm,
And then I had to forward those to For Me to You while For Me to You was still up. And then once I actually went live, I had to switch that. So now
yeah.
For Me to You forwards to Joyful Party Co. It's crazy. And then through Yahoo, since my .com was through them, all my emails were there. So I had to port all my emails over to Gmail and set up a Gmail workspace and all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. And how did this affect, I guess, like tangible items? Like, did you have logo wear that you had to redo or like
Shirts.
decals on walls? I mean, like
Yep.
everything.
Yep, my windows are getting rebranded this week on the studio, and the logo in the main area of our studio is getting redone this week. I redid shirts for the whole staff and myself. I probably had about 40 shirts of
Yeah.
just because I have shirts to match my tennis shoes.
Uh-huh.
And so I probably have about 40 shirts total with
Oh my gosh.
on it. And I know, and I can't let them go, right? And I'm
I was
just
gonna say you have to keep a few for
I'm
like
gonna keep a
archival
few.
purposes.
Yes, but I'm just like, oh, these are, and some of them are like super soft now that
Mm.
I've worn them years, and I was like, I can't let go of some of these. So,
Oh, that's funny.
but yeah, everything out facing is now Joyful Party Co. And
Okay.
so I had to probably back in October, I actually start emailing distributors. Hey,
Oh, yeah.
so I had to change my name with all of them. I emailed them all, hey, we're now going by Joyful Party Co. We're no longer From Me to You. And I sent them an email. I had to change all my logins,
Mm.
all the distributors. And even now, I had to call Alex at Bloom World the other day, and I was like, what is my login? Is
Yeah.
it sales at Joyful Party Co. or is it info at Joyful Party Co? And he had to walk me through it. I was like, thank you, Alex. I appreciate it because I have no idea what.
Well, do you have an idea of how much money overall you've invested in the rebrand? Because a lot of it sounds like it was just energy, but a lot like shirts and walls and that takes a lot of
Yeah.
money. Do you
Yeah.
know what you've invested over the last couple years?
Probably with doing my own website, I would say
Oh,
$2,000.
okay, so not crazy.
Not crazy, right? Now, if I didn't do my own website, I would probably say that would push it up to about
Yeah.
probably about $5,000.
So overall, do you feel like it's been worth it?
Yes. I
Because
would,
I feel like everything you
yes.
just said, I was like, I'm never rebranding. This
I
sounds
know.
terrible.
I know,
So
but
why is it worth it in the end?
I feel like now, one, from me to you, I don't know, going through COVID and everything, and in it being a teenager, quote unquote, it was just not as fun
Mm,
anymore. And it's just when business becomes business, it's just not as fun, and you have to deal with taxes and paperwork and payroll and all of that. And I just really wanted to bring the joy back into owning a business. I prayed for this business. When I was working at Tyson Foods, I would walk from the parking lot every day and I was like, I just want to run my business. I just want to do that only. And I just wanted to get back to enjoying the business, not
yeah.
necessarily owning the business, but just the business.
Well,
So I really needed something upbeat and, lively and
right.
colorful.
Like it's infused a little bit more energy into your
Yep.
business.
And my word of the year is joy. I pick a word of the
Nice.
year every year. So this year, my word of the year is joy.
That's amazing. Well, everything looks beautiful. How has it been with your customers? Do you feel like they didn't even notice? Like I feel like sometimes I make these changes and then like people never even knew what my business name was to begin with. They still call me the wrong name all the
Oh,
time. They're
yeah.
like, "Oh, you're just like the balloon company." But do you think that they have noticed the change?
Oh, I think they love it. Like
Okay.
the feedback I've gotten is like, "Oh, I love the rebrand. I love the new name." And I think it's easier for them to remember and
Yeah.
for them to pass on to other people. Because I even had a friend a couple months call me, and now it was a lady that I had known for years and years and years. And she had called my friend and she was like, "Hey, what's that balloon business girl?" And I've known her since college.
Yeah.
Like, and she just couldn't think of it off. She was like, me to you, or what is it? So I just think Joyful Party Code just helps people. It has the word party in it. So that helps just trigger the brain. And I
So if
love it.
someone's in your position and maybe their business isn't as old, but
Right.
like do you think it starts with the name? Like if you can't confidently say the name of your business, it's worth updating. That's kind
Yeah.
of what Daloon said.
Yeah. Yeah. I
They were
think so.
like, no, they were the funniest thing in their episode, which actually we'll link to it, because they did a whole episode about rebranding, and they were like, we have like 50% Spanish speaking and 50% English speaking clients, and none of them could say the name. Like it didn't make
Yeah.
sense in either language, so they had to do it, and they just opened a brick and mortar, and their branding is very on point, and you can tell that they're confident and they love their name. I do think it makes a big difference.
It helps. It helps. And now, even with my employees, they can say it, they can wear it on their shirts, and people see it and they know exactly what to say because we have a slogan, we have a purpose, everything. So it's just an easier across the board. And when you say Joyful Party Co., like people kind of automatically go with party, balloon,
Hmm.
party supplies. When you said for me to you creations, they had no idea what that entailed.
Right.
So I think that my community loves it and everybody loves it. And I kept
Well,
it a
great.
huge secret forever. Like not a lot of people knew. People knew I was going through a rebrand, but they had no idea what the name was or anything. So
Now it's out.
it's out and we're here.
Well, it looks great. It looks great.
Thank
Well,
you.
let's take one more break and then we will
Okay.
end on our fun questions and then
All
wrap
right.
this episode up.
Okay.
Today's episode is presented in part by our newest sponsor, Jamar USA, a brand that believes in the power of balloons to create meaningful moments. From birthdays to brand launches, their high-quality, eco-friendly balloons help turn simple spaces into something truly special. Made in Italy with care and a commitment to sustainability, Jamar balloons are trusted by professionals around the world for their vibrant colors, durability, and creative versatility. Whether you're planning a big celebration or just want to brighten someone's day, we're here to lift the moment with you. Jamar, lifting the moment. All right, welcome back. Let's end on our final 3 questions, just for
Okay.
fun. The first is, where is your favorite place to go on vacation?
Oh, that's a good one. Anywhere with a beach.
Mm,
Anywhere with a beach. Now, I would rather it be like a resort type
okay.
beach than like a public beach. I feel like I disconnect a little bit more with resort type locations because you really don't have to worry about food or, going anywhere, and they have the entertainment there and things like that. So definitely some kind of resort, beach, warm, somewhere I can take a nap and not be bothered. And
Sounds lovely. Sounds lovely.
yeah.
Next question is about
Okay.
stuff. What is something you've purchased recently or semi-recently that you are enjoying?
So going back to the word of the year is joy. Part of that was decluttering
Mm,
and just getting rid of paper. So I purchased a brand new iPad with the iPencil and everything. And I have pretty much switched to digital notebooks and a digital planner and everything. So I love it.
do you carry
And
it with you like all the time, everywhere?
I keep it with me. And so I'm actually able to journal. I have a digital Bible in there now that actually is like a journaling Bible. So I can do everything in there and it's amazing. And I
That's
actually got my
awesome.
best friend on it too. So she bought an iPad too recently. So she's like,
You're like an iPad ambassador now.
right. Now I'm the iPad ambassador of like, you need this. And so even with like going to different conferences and stuff, like I don't have different notebooks.
Mm,
All my notes will be in one spot. And I do like
yeah.
part. So
Great.
mhm.
Great. Well, last question, and then we'll wrap it up. What is a small piece of business advice you have for our listeners?
Oh, that's a good one too. I would say that the hustle mentality is a terrible way to run your business and to live your life.
Mm,
If you have to be in a hustle time period, make it a short time period. If you're launching a new product, rebranding, something like that, 6 months max. But years and years and years of the hustle mentality will burn you out. I did it for years and years. And you start resenting things. You start resenting the business, you start resenting your family and friends because they're out having fun,
mm.
everything. So just make sure that if you have to push through and hustle, make it a short time stint. And then rest, and then you can go back into it, a year later or for a few months or whatever, but definitely just pace yourself.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for this interview. Where can people find you if they want to see your beautiful new branding or get in touch with you?
So everything now is at Joyful Party Co. And you can find us at joyfulparty.co or just Joyful Party Co. So Instagram is joyfulparty.co and our website is joyfulparty.co.
Listen to you. You've
I
got
love it.
everything.
I love it. I love it. That is just all the same. And so Facebook and Twitter wouldn't let me put a dot in there. So it's just Joyful Party Co.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. And everyone, you should go check out her stuff because it is beautiful. I love your website. Congratulations. What an
Thank you.
undertaking, but
Oh, the
worth
Etsy
it.
stores. Let me tell you about the Etsy stores. Etsy stores is Joyful Party Co. for the party supplies, Joyful Party Co. threads for our t-shirts, and Joyful Party Co. papery for our digital stationery.
Wonderful. Man, you are a busy woman, to say the least.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It was so nice to
Thank you,
connect.
Sarah. I loved it.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Bright Balloon Podcast presented by 17 Hats, my go-to system for booking, billing, and managing my balloon business with ease. If you're ready for more mindset shifts, mini trainings, and strategies to help you grow a profitable, sustainable business, join me on the Bright Side, my private podcast feed just for decorators who want more ease, more income, and more insight behind the scenes of my balloon business. It's just $5 a month, and you can sign up right now in the show notes wherever you're listening. I'll see you on the Bright Side.